folks, getting ready to do our first road trip in the Tesla Model Y Performance. We have the Tesla charging up. We're sitting at about 98%, and we'll do a few stops along the way, but right now we've got our destination put into the charger. So let's take a look at it and see what our trip is going to look like today. So we're heading from Dayton, Ohio, all the way down to Chattanooga, Tennessee, where our first stop will be right around London, Kentucky. We should get there with about 27% battery. And right now we're sitting at about 99%, which is good enough, which is leading about 281 miles. Right now my battery's got about 9.5% battery degradation, sitting at 285 miles on a full charge. So anyways, we'll kind of do a read here and take a look and see how our trip is going to go. And we'll go from there, and we'll do a couple of updates as we go along. Hope you all enjoy the trip, and we'll talk to you later. All right, folks, rolling down the road. Already got a few changes to our route. Tesla has routed a supercharger. It has us stopping in Florence because the London, Kentucky supercharger is busy. So right now, we've got about 272 miles of range, and we reset our trip meter. We're averaging about 222 watt hours per mile since we reset there. So overall, doing pretty good. Just we'll stick it on the speed limit and stay that way. It's a holiday weekend, so lots of travel going on and around the road. But overall, going pretty well. At this current average consumption of 246 over the last 30 miles, could go about 300 miles. So again, we'll see how we go. We'll see if we can skip Florence and head all the way to London. But we'll just kind of take a look and see how busy the supercharger is. Too much time waiting in line, so maybe better to actually stop beforehand, top off, and then charge south of Knoxville, which will be our last stop until we get to our destination in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So anyways, more to go. So far, so good. It has us getting into our destination around 7:30 p.m. in Chattanooga, Tennessee, stopping twice, once in Florence and then once in Brookwood. Brookwood is a 250 kilowatt supercharger, so that should go pretty quick, and hopefully we'll get there about 10% so that we can really take advantage of the faster charging times that's available. So right now, just enjoying the autopilot, cruising down the road and enjoying the scenic view. We'll catch up with you later. Quick update here. Tesla had us stopping in Florence, Kentucky, which is just on the other side of the Cincinnati, of the Kentucky-Ohio border, just across the river. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to either stop in Lexington or in London, Kentucky. That way our battery charge will come down a lot lower. One, we won't have to stop as frequently. Two, the lower the charge on the car, the quicker it will charge back up, versus it had us stopping at 79% and then staying for 15 minutes. So the amount of electricity or charge can be very nominal once you get above that 80% mark. So I'll kind of take a look here and show you what we're doing as we're driving south. So right now we have two choices: either stop in Lexington or in London, Kentucky. You can see London right now only has one charger, which is why I was trying to route us to other places. So we'll kind of make the decision whether we do Lexington or London, Kentucky. But as of right now, it has us getting to London with about 28% charge in 2 hours and 45 minutes. And so we're just heading right now down through Cincinnati, northern Cincinnati, Liberty Way. And let's just take a look at our efficiency right now. So right now, averaging about 266 watt hours per mile since on our current trip. We've got about 24 miles under about 30 minutes. Again, just staying right at the speed limit. Staying at about 66 miles an hour, 65 miles an hour. It's a holiday weekend, so the chargers can be busy or they can be slow, but we'll kind of see how things go here. It says it's still stopping in London, Kentucky around 4 o'clock. We had about 15-20 minutes of slowdown back behind us, but as we're driving over the epitome of poor United States infrastructure here between Kentucky and Ohio, at least they painted the thing. We'll be heading across. So right now this has us getting to London, Kentucky with about 26% on the charger, getting ready to head up the hill. From an efficiency standpoint, we continue to have good efficiency. We're heading using about 237 watt hours per mile on our trip here, and using the 19-inch Gemini wheels, and we're running about 43 psi cold, and so that's obviously hot as they're going up. So anyways, overall, good trip. Right now we're better than our rated efficiency as we're heading up. We can go about 283 miles versus the 236 that's showing us at about 83%. So anyways, overall good trip. We'll continue to give you a couple updates as we go along, and we'll talk to you later. Well, we're here, stopped for a restroom break. This is a Tesla with the 19-inch Gemini wheels. We're rolling down the road, and we'll keep going on here. Stopping at a gas station of all places, but of course, no gas. Well, we're about 30 miles from our 28 minutes, about 30 miles from our first supercharger stop on this trip. Just as a reminder, we are going from Dayton, Ohio, all the way down to Chattanooga, Tennessee. Right now, our next stop is going to be in London, Kentucky for about 10 minutes. And we'll stop for about 10 minutes there, use the restroom, get something to eat, and then we'll stop south of Knoxville. The reason why we're stopping for a shorter period of time in London is because it's a 150 kilowatt charger. That 150 kilowatt charger with a lot of cars will charge a little bit slower because the stalls share a power outlet, whereas this supercharger in Knoxville, Tennessee is a 250 kilowatt charger, so we'll be able to charge up a lot more quickly, spend a lot less time waiting to charge. So right now we've got about 20 minutes to go until we get to our first supercharger stop, so looking forward to that. Also, let's take a look at our efficiency. So right now for our entire trip we've been averaging 262 watt hours per mile. We've used about 44 kilowatts. So just as a reminder, in our neck of the woods, it's about 11 cents a kilowatt hour. So we've used right at about $4 or $5 worth of fuel or electricity, energy, to go the distance, the 167 miles. So right now, this portion of the trip, we're using about 276. So if you're familiar with the geography, from Dayton to Cincinnati is all downhill, pretty much downhill net. And then as you hit the Ohio River and you head up into Kentucky, it starts to gain uphill. Also, you'll notice that our speed we've picked up, we're going about 72, 71 miles an hour, speed limit 70. So anyways, right now, trip is going very well. Really not a lot of traffic. We ran into just a couple of traffic in Cincinnati, coming out of Cincinnati, and then around Lexington, which is rather usual. But again, right now we're on autopilot, and we're just cruising down the road and having a good trip right now. So anyways, this is projecting at our current usage, we could go 95 miles based on our last 30 miles average, whereas the car's EPA range is 103. So right now we're getting right at the expected efficiency or range of the Tesla. So just as a reminder, we're in a 2022 Tesla Model Y Performance. However, we've got the 19-inch Gemini wheels, which are a lot more efficient and they're more comfortable, especially on these long road trips. You get better range and efficiency, and they're much more comfortable. So anyways, just thought we'd give you all a quick update as to what's going on here. And just cruising down the road, so about 25 minutes to go. We'll stop at the supercharger and we'll check in with you there. Well, we're about 7 minutes or 6.3 miles out. Notice that the Tesla starts preconditioning the battery temperature. So what that does is it heats the battery up so it's ready to accept all those extra electrons coming in. So next time we come to you, we'll be stopped at the supercharger, let you know how long we're going to stay there. Approximately about 10 minutes, and then we'll be on our way to Knoxville. Well, we made it to the supercharger here in London, Kentucky. Right now we've got about 67 miles left to go, or 24%. We'll be here for about 10 minutes. So let's go out and we'll get our car plugged in. These are the 150 kilowatt. You can tell by the 2A or 2B. There we go. Communicating. There we go. And it's starting to charge now. Let's see what we get up to. Ramping right up. Topping out at about 140 kilowatts an hour. And up here on the top, it just tells you how long we need to stay for. So we'll be here about 10 minutes. And we'll be on our way. And then it also calculates what our current charging time is. Let's take a look at our trip stats real quick. 282 coming up the hill, and then preconditioning the battery used a lot more than what we were usually doing. So far, 267 watt hours per mile, so really good efficiency. So anyways, gonna go stretch my legs, use the restroom, and we'll be back on our way. So just had an opportunity to use the restroom and check out the facilities, stretching the leg. Only ones here at the superchargers. They've got 6 stalls. And all around back behind us, there's a McDonald's. Looks like the drive-thru's only open right now. There's a visitor center and Shiloh Steakhouse, Waffle House, Taco Bell, anything that your stomach can handle, it is right there. Good. Got all the bugs washed off from the rain that we had just a little bit ago. Ceramic coating's holding up well, and the ceramic tint is doing good. So anyways, I'm gonna just stay out here and stretch my legs for another second or so, and then we'll get back on our way. We're gonna get to the next supercharger with 20%, so I'm gonna go ahead and unplug our battery here, even though it's telling me to charge up just a little bit more. So we've already gone up to 50%. So we added 25% in just about 6 minutes. We'll go ahead and uncharge and we'll be good to go. Simple as that. Let's see. That charge was $7.50. So we'll continue on our trip and we'll go on our way. Well, we're going to stop here for some fuel. And I mean, the fuel that you're going to regret. Any trip that stops at a Taco Bell is one that you're going to feel for many hours. So we just made it here to the supercharger that we got here with 37 miles, i.e. 13%. Let's go ahead and get plugged in and see what we can do here. Already higher than the one we stopped out. All right, hit that 250 kilowatts. Let's take a look at our trip display here. Our last trip since our last charge went 103 miles, averaged about 262 watt hours per mile. So far doing pretty good, right on track. Coming over the Jellicoe Pass, really sapped a lot of energy going up, but we made it up on the way back. So anyways, go see what we can find here and let this charge. Looks like we've got about 10 minutes till we need to keep going, and then we'll go from there. All right, we'll see you on the flip side. Well, this supercharger location is rather out of the way. Had a little bit of a hard time finding it. Pretty good selection around, mainly sit-down restaurants. As you can see, quite a few cars that are parking there. In fact, let's but again, these are all V3 chargers to one another, not sap your energy. So anyways, just gonna walk around a little bit, wait for the car to charge. We've got about 10 minutes and then we'll be on the road again. Unfortunately, there's some traffic on 75 just over the road there. So we're having to wait a little bit. So we'll see what's going on and stretch our legs, get the blood flowing, and we'll keep going. Got about 2 minutes left to charge here. Interesting fact. This cable is really hot to the touch, almost like a hot pan. And I don't know if you can hear it, but the car here is really running the fan to keep it cool. So anyways, we got about 2 more minutes here. We'll go ahead and hop back inside and see what we're at and what we're charging at. Got about 4 minutes remaining. We're charging at 127 kilowatts. And it looks like we'd have enough to make it to Chattanooga. We're going to give ourselves just a little more buffer. Another couple minutes just in case there's some extra traffic, but already up at 45%. Pro tip, put your climate on keep while you're at the supercharger. It helps keep the car ready to go. And so that when everyone gets back in, it is perfect and toasty, especially on either these really hot or cold days. Let's take a look at our consumption here. Anyways, doing pretty good so far. 301 miles, used 80 kilowatts, 265 watt hours per mile. All right, we'll see you on the flip side.
Well, hey, good morning. We finished up our trip last night, got in about 8:20 p.m. and had an overall good trip. Arrived with about actually about a 19% state of charge. So anyways, and was able to charge with my in-laws dryer outlet, a Nema 1450 plug, and then just was able to stretch the cord out the car. So the car is sitting at about 81% right now. So overall, let's kind of recap the trip and see how things ended up. So we went about 404 miles. I've got some notes down here, so I'll peek down. Our average speed was about 52, 53 miles an hour. That was unfortunate. That was due to about 45 minutes of traffic that we ran into 3 separate times on the holiday weekend. We used 101.85 kilowatts of electricity, and so that kind of gives you an idea as to how much the electricity is. Curious in terms of how much it costs for us to drive the 400 miles. We've made this trip many a time. So let's kind of recap it here. We spent $23.14 on supercharging and $5.25 on home charging. That was about 50-50 in terms of the electricity. So about, and our total cost for the trip down the 400 miles all in this Tesla Model Y Performance was $28.39 or 7 cents a mile. One question we get asked a lot is how long does it take to charge? So we spent exactly 23 minutes charging, and we actually made on 2 separate stops, but we made a total of 3 stops because we need to get out and stretch our legs a little bit more. Just a comparison, if we had been driving a brand new Lexus RX SUV, which is a similar car to what I had before, it would have cost us over $50.50 to get down here. Plus the cost of the oil change, which would have been about 5% of the total cost of what it cost to get service. So over $65 or 16 cents a kilowatt hour, or 16 cents a mile, sorry. So a little bit over half as much to drive down here. So just a couple of thoughts on getting down here. The Tesla Autopilot is amazing. Just really takes the stress out of driving. The seats, I wish they were ventilated. But they are what they are. Another pro tip, do not overcharge at superchargers. Only charge up to what your car tells you need to and then move on. Otherwise, you can spend a lot more time charging. The higher the state of charge on the car, the longer it takes to actually add additional energy. So just charge up to what you need to. Try to arrive at the superchargers that are real low state of charge, 10% or even a little bit lower, because it charges up so quick. Let's see here. Just use the Tesla computer. Don't even worry about it. I used a better route planner to try to, I was a little worried about the trip, and it ended up telling me exactly the same thing that the Tesla computer told me. It was spot on. I got the car ceramic tinted this past week. Huge difference, a lot less heat inside the car. Just relax and enjoy the trip. Don't worry about it. The car will charge. It'll tell you when it needs to charge. There are plenty of places all around. The Tesla Model Y, in terms of storage, has tons of room to put stuff, so not an issue there. Think about your destination. So this is one thing that I think is important. Most of the time the Tesla will have you get to your destination with the low state of charge. Just make sure that you have a way to charge, or that there is a supercharger nearby. We're lucky, like I said, to be able to plug a Nema 1450 plug in to the dryer outlet, stretch the cord out, it is just long enough, and to charge the car up. A couple of things that I found were interesting. If we had supercharged 100% of the time, it would have cost us over $45, $46 in electricity. Why that matters is because that $45, remember the cost to drive the Lexus RX was $64. That would have taken our savings to just about 28%. So we would have only saved 28% if we had used the Tesla supercharger. What does that mean? Home charging is the key to making EV vehicles affordable and easy. Superchargers are convenient, but you are not saving a huge amount of money. And if you're supercharging, it can really add up in a heartbeat. So what do you think? I'm just kind of curious what you think about the trip, what questions you have. Have you done a road trip before? And what were your experiences? So in the comments below, leave us a comment or question. I see my son walking in the background. He's like, what is Dad doing here? And so anyways, have a wonderful time. Thanks again for checking out the video here of the road trip. We'll get it. And look forward to hearing about your road trips and whatever questions you have.